Okay, on to match number one. I have actually recorded this about 3 times now, but due to technical issues, this is what I hope will be the first time that it will pan out. We've kept a 7 card hand with a couple of cantrips, some fast mana, and a Lion's Eye Diamond, which is a brick. Probably a brick anyway. And we've played against and we've come up against Delver. We're going to lead Fetch Basic Island into Ponder here. And we need to look for a land. So there we go, we find a Scalding Tarn. We want to draw the days for turn. I've stacked the Ponder wrong, unfortunately. We want the days to be able to fight over a Dreadhorde Arcanist. If they tap out for an Arcanist on turn 2, just Arcanist shuts the door on us really quick. Now, back to the hand that we kept. It's a well-balanced hand. It kind of has everything that we need. We fetched an island because we have infinite access to black mana at the moment, right? We have a stack of Lotus Petals. Black mana is going to be fine. So we just want to try to play around Wasteland as best as possible. Opponent shuffled is Ponder. So we don't know if the Delver's flipping. So here we can play a land and we can choose to take a gamble here on whether Delver flips, whether or not we whether or not Delver will flip off the blind shuffle, and a gamble pays off. So we're gambling there to make our brainstorm better. Because we know at the top card of our library we actually want 3 fresh cards. And that's what we get to do now. And so we actually want to keep the Street Wraith here. And we probably want to put back the Underground Sea and the Lion's Eye Diamond. So the Street Wraith is our way to draw into our pile at the moment. And Underground Sea, putting the Underground Sea back just makes the Wasteland have less value. So we'll go ahead and we'll fire off our Duress here. And double Daze, double Oko, so we'll just take a Daze. They can't cast the Oko at the moment, and I think as it stands right now, our game plan is to draw Doomsday for turn and try and kill them. Force of Negation is actually okay from here, from this hand, because we can beat the Daze with all the fast mana that we have, and we can force their force. So we should have held that Underground Sea just to keep that Wasteland dead. And Herding Mandrills here, we're more or less dead if we don't go off this turn, maybe next. We might have one more turn. So if we want to go off this turn, we want to cycle a Street Wraith, and we actually need to find a Brainstorm. Brainstorm's the only card that'll actually get us out of this. Whereas if we want to wait until next turn and just get a little bit more information out of them, see if there's anything that we weren't aware of, that's not proving to be, but okay. We'll Brainstorm, and we'll put back our Street Wraith as we can't actually use it anymore. So if this Brainstorm found like Duress, Dark Ritual, Doomsday, I think we could actually win. Because we're going to, like, we can use a pedal to be able to Duress, take their force. So play out all our pedals, Duress, take their force. And we are able to play around days at any point as well, I think. Although maybe we wouldn't have enough cards in hand if we did that. But it doesn't matter, we miss. So we're going to board in 3 defense grids, cut a Street Wraith, a Limdor's Vault, and a Pyroblast. And I'll just pause playback for a second. So I'll just talk about why this is our game plan. So defense grid is a hammer for this matchup. It just locks the matchup if it resolves a lot of the time. If you get a defense grid down, you're free to cast your spells, and that's what we need to be able to do. We cut the Street Wraith. As Street Wraith, we can't afford piles that use 2 Street Wraiths, as Delver attacks your life total pretty aggressively. It's possible even, maybe we don't even need both Street Wraiths, but sometimes it's just a free redraw. We cut the Pyroblast, as we don't really want to be paying mana to fight in the stack against a deck that plays more free counterspells than we do. We want to be fighting, we want to be abusing our Duresses and defense grids to turn off their interaction, and then protecting our defense grids with our dazes and our forces. And Limdor's Vault is 2 life total dependent. Can't be cast under a grid, is red blastable, and it's 2 mana, so it's far too easy to daze if you're going to be casting it in a timely manner. And unlike defense grid, doesn't lock the game up in the same way. So that's our board plan. I'll just speed this up a tiny bit. Alright, so on the play, this is, once again, it's a balanced hand. It's not an exciting hand, but it is a balanced hand. It also lets us fetch basics, I think. Yeah, with 3 lands, I think we can... Maybe it's not correct to fetch basics here, and maybe we are meant to grab Underground Sea, but... we're 100% keeping this, and we're going to put the Doomsday on top. The reason to put the Doomsday on top is occasionally you will find Delver players that like to surgical cantrips, like Ponder. And if that was to happen, we would value, like we want both the Dark Ritual and the Doomsday, but the card that we value the most is the Doomsday, and you know, if we lose the Dark Ritual, we lose the Dark Ritual, that's fine. So sometimes you might want to fight over the Dreadhorde Arcanist, but in this particular situation, I think given how hand is going to stack up, and given how slow a clock Arcanist on its own is, I think we were able to let the Arcanist resolve and just try to kill them this turn. All they have is a daze, and so this actually just gives us free reign to do whatever we want. We're going to kill them this turn, and we have all the cards that we need to be able to do so. So we're going to be able to resolve our Doomsday, and then draw into our pile. Now, for anybody who's not super familiar with Doomsday, this is a pretty straightforward pile. If you resolve your Doomsday and then you have the mana to brainstorm into it, and you have an extra card in your hand, in addition to the brainstorm, then you can make a very simple cycle into Ideas Unbound pile. which is what we're going to do. Now, we're going to put Thassa's Oracle and Lotus Petal on the bottom. Any order, it doesn't actually matter here for those two. And we need to put Edge of Order, Lion's Eye Diamond, and Ideas Unbound in the top 3. In any order, it doesn't matter at the moment. We'll brainstorm into it, and we're going to put one card from our hand on top of our library, and then Ideas Unbound on top of that. We'll play out our Lion's Eye Diamond, and then we will cycle Edge, hold priority, crack Lion's Eye Diamond for triple blue, and draw our Ideas Unbound. We will cast our Ideas Unbound, draw 3 cards, and have 1 blue mana floating. And among our 3 cards is our Lotus Petal to get our last blue mana, and our Thassa's Oracle. And this pile is deterministic if your opponent can't interact, which they couldn't at that point. That's game. So we're not changing our sideboard any. Maybe it's wrong to not change it up between play or draw, but I have been trying to keep my Delver plan as simple as possible. It's a terrible matchup. I'm not sure there's much that can be done to improve it, and so I don't want to muck about too much. Game plan is still just going to be try to get that defense grid down. Hope that's enough. So we've opened this hand. This is a bit of a trap hand, I think. It's got 2 bricks in it. And while it's got a cantrip and it's got got a brainstorm, the fact that we have 2 bricks just makes it a little bit too difficult for me to keep. So I think the disciplined play here is to mulligan. And this hand isn't amazing, but we have a defense grid, we have a duress, and we have a doomsday. So we have our combo card, and we have multiple protection spells. The downside to this hand is we need to draw some other things that to accelerate it, but I think we actually should have led on Island there. So I think our game plan is to go Island into Volk, and cast, hope that they tap out, cast Grid with Daze backup. So what this hand needs at the moment, I think, is a Dark Ritual and a draw spell. Or like some fast mana would be nice as well. So here I think we wait an extra turn to get the grid down. And we'll get the grid down on 2 basics. Because we can duress here and take... We're hoping to take a force or something. We don't really want to see multiple lightning bolts. Multiple bolts mean that we do need to win the same turn that we doomsday. Which is not unexpected in the matchup, but it does mean we're also on a really short clock and we actually might just not have time. Especially because we keep drawing lands. This has not been ideal. So here we kind of need to fetch a bunch of black sources and hope. Because it's going to be opponent not wastelanding for whatever reason. Maybe it means they want to get the mandrels or something down. Or maybe there's something else, or maybe they draw an Arcanist for turn or something. Means that we might actually be able to... Like if we were to draw a Brainstorm for turn, and they were to not wasteland us, our Doomsday would actually be able to be lethal. But unfortunately they've double wastelanded us now, and between the Bolt and the Chain Lightning, think we're actually dead. Yep. So that's the end of our first match, unfortunately.